its shores and contributing to global stability and security. Naval recruitment plays a crucial role in maintaining the strengths and readiness and effectiveness of the nation's Navy. And it's a crucial component in the nation's overall defense and foreign policy. Today's speaker knows much, much more than I'll ever know, probably much, much more than all of us will ever know about the paramount importance of naval recruitment. His journey in the U.S. Navy began in 1986 when he enlisted and underwent rigorous training at boot camp in San Diego, California. After 5 years of active service, he transitioned to the Naval Reserves, where he assumed several key roles, including OIC for the USS Frank Cable. His extensive and diverse experience continued as he embarked on mobilizations to different locations around the globe, including Manila in the Philippines. His exemplary service has earned him a host of personal decorations, including 2 meritorious service medals, a joint service commendation, 4 Navy and Marine Corps commendation medals, and 6 Navy and Marine Corps achievement medals. His educational achievements are equally impressive, with a Bachelor of Science degree from Washington State University and MBA degree from City University. And in February of 2023, he assumed the role of Commanding Officer of Navy Talent Acquisition in Jacksonville, Florida, a testament to his leadership qualities and exceptional career trajectory. Today, we're in for a real treat, so please join me in giving a warm West Jax Rotary welcome to Commander Timothy Trimble.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a tough act to follow, sir. Thank you for the introduction. I'm always humbled when somebody reads my bio. It's like, holy, that person's been maybe a long time. So that's the first thing that clicks in my brain. So, hey, before I get started and introduce myself, can I have everybody that's been in the military raise their hand? Can I have everybody that's had a family member in the military raise their hand? You have a son, daughter in the military? Hey, I want to first thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your family service. Without your dedication, motivation, and for this country, we couldn't do what we wanted to do. So, my name is Commander Tim Trimble. I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world. Humble beginnings, started as an enlisted sailor, understood what the Navy offered me, and was able to utilize it, and I'm standing here many years later. Today, I had the opportunity to meet some great administrators from our schools out there. I'm going to talk about the importance of why we have to have administrators. They went out of P8, was phenomenal, right? Through the Navy aircraft and ASJAX, and learned a lot, right? And I think one thing you notice is there was a lot of dedication in these enlisted sailors, right? A lot of dedication in the officers, right? So I have greatness, fondness for our sailors out there. So I was honored and privileged to be asked by Mr. Daly to come out and talk to you about what we're doing in Navy recruiting, because it really affects the Navy and the nation, okay? So let me continue on. Hopefully I do this right.
Point at me.
Oh, sorry about that.
There you go.
All right, let me continue back. Sorry about that. So, hey, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate everything you guys do. And I'm really interested to see what the Rotary does, because I'm really interested in your organization and group. So,
Carry your mic.
I'll start with that.
That way the folks at home can hear you.
So, we're going to talk about a few things today. First of all, thank you. Thank you for your service. I really appreciate it. We're going to talk about what opportunity looks like. And I think our administrators out there in schools, they talk to young people all the time, and they're like, I just want a chance. I want a chance to change my life. And I'll talk about Navy recruiting and what we do for young people, especially coming out of high school and college, and what opportunity means for them. I'm going to talk about a Navy recruiting command history and why that's really important, because after the Vietnam War, we had to go back and recruit people. So I'm going to talk about that. I'll talk about my command. I'll talk about this great organization called RDAC, which we ask professionals like you to come on board and really talk about the Navy and what that means to the community. And I will take questions in the end, okay? All right. Before I start, anybody have any quick questions before I get started? Okay, awesome. All right, so our headquarters, my area of responsibility is huge. It's from Orlando up to Tallahassee and all the way to Savannah, Georgia. We have 53 colleges and 340 high schools. That's a lot of education systems out there. We have approximately about 300 staff members out there in my AOR. So the headquarters for my NTAG Navy Talent Acquisition Group, Jacksonville, is probably 20 minutes from here. All right. What is opportunity? This is really important. What does opportunity mean to people? So when my team, my recruiters out there talking to young people, they talk about college, they talk about technical, they talk about, I just want an opportunity, maybe to travel, I want the education, I want to do what my parents do. So we try to get to the point of what opportunity means to somebody. Some people it's leadership, they just want the opportunity to lead. Some people, they want to be able to mentor or be mentored. Some people want to, maybe they want to be going to ROTC and ROTC at their colleges. So we try to get to the point of what opportunity means to people. I know our educators out there, you talk about opportunity as well, right? It's really important to understand why people want that opportunity. And I can tell you, as a commanding officer, the Navy provides an outstanding opportunity for young people to change their life for the better. So I talk to people all the time. I always say, are you ready to change your life for the better? And that's kind of what I think about the Navy. So what is the mission of Recruiting Command? We're out here to hire the best and brightest young people to serve our country. That's what Navy Recruiting Command is about. And I tell you what, the people I meet every day in recruiting is incredible. I meet a lot of young people that are in JROTC in high school. They're valedictorians. They're on the football teams, the swim teams, and they really want to serve their country. So I meet a lot of people. And it's always an honor and privilege to talk to these people. It's like, wow, your story is amazing. And one of the things I get to do as a commanding officer, I get to do a lot of NROTC interviews for people that want to go to University of Jacksonville, University of Florida, Florida State, and the incredible magnitude of these people is unbelievable. All of them have amazing GPAs. They're doing community service projects. They're doing lots of sports events. It's truly amazing. So it's really an honor. And the history of Navy Recruiting Command, really, if you think about the Navy's birthday is coming up October 13th. And if you can see, 1775 was the founding. So the Navy's been around a long time, right? So we celebrate October 13th as the Navy's birthday. Once again, our job, at least my command here, is to go out and recruit the brightest and the best. We're in colleges. We are in high schools. We go out to JROTCs. We're in Navy Sea Cadets. You guys know what Sea Cadets are? Great organization. Young people, usually age 10 to 18, and they go out there and they get to wear this uniform. They get ribbons for community service and educate. It's a really great organization. We work with the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, all these great community, and as an opportunity to really develop these young people. All right, so this is, if you can see this, this is my area of responsibility. It's pretty huge. And obviously we have some big population centers, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tallahassee. These are big. So we have a lot. It says 208 high schools. It's actually 340 high schools. That's a lot of high schools, right? So we have about 300 staff people. So one of the things we have to do, we learned a long time ago, is we got to get into the high schools and we got to talk to young people, right? That's a key element in recruiting. You got to talk to people to educate them on a thing. So our recruiters are always in the high schools talking to young people. My officer recruiters, because part of my mission is we do officer recruiting too. We're in the colleges all the time, giving presentations on STEM events, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So we give a lot of presentations on that because if you think about the Navy is technical, right? In nature, ships, aircraft, submarines. So we're looking for very STEM-oriented personnel. One thing about recruiting, I think, is a challenge here right now is our area is very vast. I wish I'd have more recruiters, but we're doing a great job with recruiters have, but you can see the area is pretty huge. We have 30 recruiting stations. Anybody live in St. Johns County? Is that fast growing, sir? Trying to get some new recruiting stations in St. Johns County because there's so many high schools we're building out there. But we have 30 recruiting stations within my area of responsibility, strategically located throughout the area, all the way from Orlando to Tallahassee, Albany, all the way to Savannah, Georgia. So, and Mr. Daly back here is always interacting with the high schools, high school principals, superintendents, doing a phenomenal job. Thanks, Dan. Ms. Bailey, I appreciate it. Okay. So here's what we're doing in Recruiting Command as a way forward. One thing we practice is a culture of excellence. We treat people with respect and dignity just like everybody wants to be treated, and that's how we do it, okay? We focus on people programs. The Navy offers a ton of programs out there. 100% medical dental, tuition assistance, retirement, all that. So we focus on people. One thing that's great about this command, we are in a military-friendly community. We have Naval Station Mayport, Kings Bay, right? Naval Air Station. Well, this is a military-friendly thing. So we have a lot of family members out there that help us recruit. One of the things we do in recruiting is we have a tremendous amount of mentoring programs. We have a lot of our recruiters in the high school involved with the mentorship programs of high schoolers. Anybody been to the Naval Air Station Blue Angel show last year in October? October coming up, we have the air show at the Jack's Beach. Hopefully you guys can make it. So my recruiting command is out there in about 3 or 4 weeks to help with the recruiting out there at the air show. So another thing Mr. Daly does, he does a great job on EOVs, education-oriented visitation, bringing our educators on the submarines, on the squadrons, just like we did today, right, Mr. Daly? Getting the message out to our administrators, our principals, and educators on what the Navy does. And ma'am, did you learn a lot back there when you went on the plane? Was that incredible? Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. One thing we also do is have this RDAC group. It's made of people like you, professionals in the community, and get the Navy message out. So we have an RDAC group. We meet quarterly, and it's a great organization. We talk a lot about what the Navy can do for the society, the group. One thing we have to do in recruiting is we've got to reach out to a lot of the STEM students. These are the science, technology, engineering, math. These are chemistry students, or physics students, or mathematics students. Because if you think about the nature of the Navy, it is completely technical. So we're always reaching out for that kind of applicant. I think in society, that's what you're looking for too, right? Mathematical, engineering, science type personnel too, right? One thing that we started this year, which I think is really important. Remember, how many people said they had a family member or was in the military? Go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, so one thing we did this year, the CNO came out with every sailor's recruiter. So I have a limited staff. Imagine 300 personnel going out to 340 high schools, 53. We're limited on people. So guess what? What happens when we use everybody as a recruiter? So we use the sailors on ships, the sailors on submarines, the sailors on squadrons to help us recruiting and incentivize recruiting with them, maybe through a letter of appreciation stuff. So we adopted this every sailor as a recruiter to get the word out to everybody out there. Because once again, if we have this many high schools and basically one recruiter per high school, it's tough to get the message out. But you know what? If we start using the submarine sailors, the squadron sailors, the ship squadron, the ship sailors, we can get the word out about the Navy and what it does to everybody. And once again, I know from when I joined the Navy many years ago as enlisted, I was on a ship for 5 years out of San Diego. I still remember all those great stories. So I know people in this audience that have served in the Navy or served in the military, you have great stories. Well, so that's what we're counting on with every sailor as a recruiter, is when you're out there and you're talking to your friends, you can help us with recruiting. And if they find somebody out there, we're going to reward them, incentivize it. So that's one thing we've adopted to help us meet our recruiting goals. And I think it's a phenomenal program, and it's been very successful. Recruiting is a challenge, right? Everybody believe recruiting's been a challenge? Okay. So guess what? That's why we need every sailor as a recruiter who help us get where we need to be. So, like I said, we've got about 300 personnel in my command, and we have 340 high schools. If we just add those sailors and squadron ships and submarines, that's a lot more recruiters helping us out. So I think it's a phenomenal program, and it's really paying a lot of dividends. Now, the RDAC, I know Mr. Daly heads it up for us. So the RDAC is made of community experts like you and professionals, some prior military people. And basically, it's an opportunity to talk about what the Navy can do for the community and what they can do for us. It's kind of like every sailor is a recruiter. You are helping us recruit. And that's what the RDAC. And if you're interested in helping with us on Navy recruiting, you can get from Mr. Daly. He'd be glad to get you on there. Be awesome. But once again, there's so many events going on there. And today, when I was listening at the table, you guys have a lot of events going on, right? Well, the Navy has a lot of events too. So we need a lot of people out there helping us make mission. NROTC. One thing, as part of my job, it's really cool. I head up NROTC. So we do the recruiting for, you guys know what NROTC is? So here at NROTC, so if you're a young person, let's say your GPA is really well and you community service and you got all these great things, you can apply for a scholarship at one of our universities that provide an NROTC, Yale, Harvard, University of Florida, Florida State, Stratford University. I was just there last week. They have a scholarship. So we can send young people on a full ride scholarship to get their degree and become a naval officer. Phenomenal program. So, all right. So I just kind of want to give you a brief about Navy recruiting. For me, I can tell you, the Navy never needed me when I joined. I needed the Navy. Just like a lot of people out there, you're looking for the opportunity. I always talk about opportunities all the time. Like, what is opportunity? To some people, it's like, I'm buying a house, buying a car, I'm getting a job, I'm getting skill sets, I'm saving money. So opportunity means different things to different people. So we're talking to young people out there, especially coming out of high school. And by the way, we're talking to people that are in their 30s and early 40s right now joining the military because they were never given an opportunity, or the opportunity is not what they needed. So we're trying to get those people and talk about what the Navy can do for them for opportunities. And I can tell you, there's more jobs in the Navy than you can imagine. It's a Fortune 50 company at least. And I can tell you, if there's something a young person wants to do, the Navy has a job for you. Okay. So I'm going to open up the field to anybody. Any questions? Go ahead, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, Randy Thornton.
Hey, Randy.
Thank you for coming. My question, I'm a pediatrician.
Oh,
and
Mr.
I see more kids as they grow up that want to pursue the military, particularly the Navy here, but they're worried about certain health issues.
Okay.
My friend, one's colorblind, I have another lot with asthma, some with
Okay.
ADHD. What health restrictions would you say don't go to the Navy?
All right, that's a great question, sir. Thank you, Mr. Thornton. So question becomes, what are some of the health restrictions that keep you out of Navy? There's many, but guess what? We have waivers. So a lot of things that traditionally in the past, you may not be able to join Navy, we have a waiver process for that. So don't discourage anybody from trying to join the Navy because maybe they think they're not qualified. Please have them get with the recruiter and we'll go through the waiver process. And I can tell you every day, I got people with some medical disqualifications, they go through the waiver process, it gets approved, and they're coming in the Navy. I can tell you, I have a lot of waivers myself. I'm still here, sir. To answer your question? All right.
You mentioned earlier, 30, 40-year-old people joining. What is the age limit? Where do you stop that?
So here's the good thing. If you're enlisted, you want to become enlisted, say, as long as you're in boot camp by age 42, you can join now. Cool, you guys ready? Raise your hand, I'll show you enough. But, and by the way, in the officer field, if you're a medical professional or maybe a minister, there's age waivers that go higher than that. So I talked to a lot of people and they think, hey, I'm too old to join the military. I'm too old to join the Navy. I found out I'm 30 years old. So no, you can join the military up to age 42 now. Enlisted. Yes, sir. We'll get you.
So can you talk a little bit about the SEALs and the BUD training a little bit? 'Cause I'm always fascinated by that. Thanks.
Well, I'll tell you, there's two high priority recruiting efforts that we do each and every month. Mr. Daly will tell you. First of all, it's our nuclear program. These are people that operate nuclear power on submarines and carriers and stuff. The other one is our special operating forces. These are our SEALs, our air rescue, our divers, really high demand. And I'll tell you, if you have anybody in your community, or some of you know, sir, please send them our way. We'll get them through the PST program. It's a test to see if they're capable of becoming a SEAL or an air rescue or diver. But we have a goal, probably about 10 special operating force people each month in my command, SEALs, divers, air rescue. And I'll get you whoever you have involved, we'll get them with our trainers and we'll get them prepared to pass that test if they want to. Okay, sir? All right, I answer the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
You're on the intake end. What does the Navy do about retention?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, I talk to young sailors, I talk to sailors that are younger, some people they're maybe been in 10, 20 years. And I can tell without a doubt, the majority love the Navy, they love the opportunity. Some people get out and I talk to them about the reserves. I served in the reserves for many years. So see, a lot of people that come off active duty don't understand they can still serve in the reserves. So the reserves is an opportunity. Some people want to get out and go to college, like me. I got off active duty the first time because I want to go back to college full time. That's what I did, and I went back in the military. So once again, everybody's kind of different, sir. As far as that, may I answer your question?
Yeah, but I'm just an active program, and you get a highly trained individual, that is sort of requirement. And once you go out and
Absolutely, absolutely. We do have a program right now. The Navy set up. It's on a case by case basis, but usually after about 90 days before they get out, they can go work with industry, corporations, companies to help them understand what the civilian life is like. So we do have a program like that. And several of my recruiters were getting out, went through this program where they're affiliated with civilian organizations about 90 days to get some training. I think it's a great program.
Go ahead. Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir.
So COVID, schools were closed.
Yes,
How
sir.
did you make it through the COVID years and where are you today?
Well, I'm going to tell you a true story. I never heard of Zoom until COVID hit. I'm sorry. Anybody use Zoom until COVID hit? Yeah, okay. How many people use Zoom during COVID? A lot of people. Okay. So guess what? One thing that came out of COVID, which is really interesting, is technology. How do we recruit in a social media environment? In fact, we did really well because we had to adopt new technologies. We use Zoom. In fact, I think I'm a Zoom expert right now. All right. I'm a Teams expert, Microsoft Teams expert. We've got smart on using social media, just like any corporation getting smart on technology. We had to, okay? Because we couldn't go into school, right? Okay. But we did really well, even so we had to adopt the new changes. They do a lot of paradigm shifts. And we did really well. And by the way, here's the good news. We're still using that. Everything that came out of COVID, we're using that for recruiting and more. So we got really smart on social media, right, Mr. Daly? Yeah, we got really smart on using Teams to emphasize training and technology. We were using Zoom, usually sometimes, but once again, we had to get smart on technology. Sir. Go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I don't want this to come across as negative, but I hear so much of the recruiting is about, here's how, if you join the Navy, you can help your personal life, your career, your opportunity. Where in the recruit process does it come in of just want to serve the country and defend the Constitution and
Okay, sir.
we love America and want to preserve, you know, that kind of thing. Like,
All right, sir.
not just about me, but what it's about service of stuff.
Well, sir, thank you. One of the slides I have is called opportunity. And I understood when I joined the Navy, it was about serving my country. Because my dad had been in the Army, brother had been in the Army, grandfather had been in the Army. It was about serving my country. So everybody has a different reason for joining. I talk to a lot of people, they just want to serve the country. They feel like it's their reason for joining this country, and I applaud them. So, but yes, patriotism, maybe their parents served in the military, maybe their brothers in the military, sisters. So a lot of that things, but we definitely, that's one of the reasons why they joined. So, answer your question? Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
What is your annual or monthly quota within your command?
I love that. That's a good question. So it depends. So I want you to think about it. November, we have Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and December, right? You have some holidays, 4th of July. So what we do is we kind of think about those times of the year where maybe people are involved. So in December, our recruiting goals are low. We usually average about 140 to 180 sailors a month. That's our recruiting goal. That's my local group. And it's about 37,000 nationwide or enlisted recruiting. So my command, about 140 to 180 young people trying to get the military. And to answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Of the massive area you're responsible for in recruiting, where's your team most effective? Where do you get the most recruits?
Everywhere, sir.
There's not one area. There's not one area is better than others.
By the way, if I had 1,000 recruiters, that's locked. Then that's why it's really important that every sailor is a recruiter program. The more people we have, the more message we get out, the more people we can meet, right? Just like you guys. I'm counting you on recruiting the Navy once you leave there, okay? All right. So once again, the more people we have, the more people. So it's really important. If you got one recruiter and they're assigned to a high school, more people we got recruiting for us, the better we'll get the message and the knowledge out there. All right, go ahead, sir.
Can you talk about the delayed entry program?
Okay, delayed entry. Anybody heard that term, delayed entry program? I heard it. I was a delayed entry. I was a depper when I was enlisted. So, basically, what happens is when you go down to MEPS to sign up and get your job, we put you in a program called delayed entry. And that's until you ship out to RTC, which got. So during this delayed entry program, we are training our young people. We're showing them how to march. We're giving them military training. We're setting them up for success. We're talking about financial stuff, military stuff. And so when they get to RTC, they have some good knowledge about what the Navy's all about. So the DEP program, and when I went to DEP program, it's nothing like it is today. Today is an incredible program. We do a lot of meetings with our young people shipping off to boot camp, and we get them prepared for boot camp. Answer your question, sir? All right, thank you very much. All right. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate the offer. Once again, if you have somebody interested in Navy or the military, just send them to your military recruiter. We would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
Small token of our appreciation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very interesting to hear the tremendous work you're doing on behalf of the Navy and our country. And thank you very much on behalf of the club. Also, thank you very much, Larry, for all of your contributions. Appreciate that. Very impressive. A couple of announcements before we get out of here. Next week, our speaker is going to be Raynetta Marshall. She's the Chief Operating Officer at JEA, so be sure to make it here for that. October 6th, October 7th is the Beast Feast and silent auction on behalf of the being put on behalf of the Baker County Rotary Club, and our social will be October 4th at Riverside Liquor. So that being said, I'd like Meredith Smith to lead us in more way test.
Because it's improved.
The goodwill and better friendship. Beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you again for all of our visiting guests and Rotarians that made it here. Let's go make the world a better place.